Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Raine Plays. Today, I am still rebuilding Willow Creek, one house at a time, and this is Potters Splay, the last lot in Courtyard Lane. It's also empty, as you can plainly tell. And then we're moving on to the second to last neighborhood, I believe it is. The one where the ghosts live. This house, it was up for grabs for the longest time. And there were a few moments where I felt like bulldozing it and starting all over from scratch because it wasn't exactly what I had intended to build. But the more I looked at it and the more I tweaked it, I thought, it is what it is. I'm going to keep it and try to salvage what I've got. So that's what you're going to see here. I don't know. I didn't think it was too modern for the neighborhood, but I did feel like I was rebuilding that Capri Terrace. Is that what it's called? But then, like I said, the more I looked at it, I'm like, not necessarily. It's not 3 stories. It's not entirely round. I think the windows probably gave me that impression. But the bottom line is, I'm not thoroughly disappointed in the end result, and I hope you won't be either if you stick through the whole video. I hope you like what I'm doing because I took a sabbatical from The Sims for personal and, well, I guess you could say social reasons. I think I've mentioned before that I'm never happy with what I'm doing. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and wasting my time as well as yours. I also feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, when in reality it isn't that I'm making the same house necessarily as I'm playing the same game and doing the same thing within that game. So there's a big difference there. I just couldn't wrap my head around that for a while. But the other reason, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's probably a touchy topic. You can't really say what's on your mind in this environment without being shot down by the popular crowd. And I've never been in the popular crowd. I have no intention of joining a popular crowd. I don't hop on bandwagons. I don't, I'm just not a Joneses type of person, and I never have been. And I see things as they are, not as how others want them to be seen. And that is very unpopular at the moment, which is sad. But I just felt that there were so many issues with this game compared to the number of avid lovers of the game that the skin tone issue was far down on the list of things that needed to be addressed. And I just feel like all of the other major corporations out there, they're caving to the masses instead of doing what needs to be done. And for me, that is extremely disappointing. I did mess up that corner. I kept looking at it going, it should be 2 and 2, but it looks like 2 and 1, doesn't it? And yet, when you look at it from that angle, those 2 benches seem to be coinciding rather well. So apologies for that. I could go back and fix it, I suppose. But anyway, with all that is going on in the world right now, and the drum beating in the wrong direction, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to apologize for that. That EA decision was like a final straw for me, so I just walked away. Time to regroup, settle down, and get me back in perspective is what I did. And then eventually I started watching more Sims 4 content, and that helped spur my interest in playing the game again. So, and again, I will reiterate, I'm not saying that skin tones weren't an issue. I'm not saying that. I think it's wonderful that people are that devoted to this game that they want to be included in that sort of a way. That's just more evidence of how popular this game is, right? But it wasn't a top priority. It was a political move, and the political landscape is what I object to. There was a time when politics, as well as religion, just weren't discussed because it's personal. But it's not that way anymore. And that's what I object to. Corporations hopping on these bandwagons, and just it's annoying. That's all I can say. Now, back to the build. As you can see in these aftershots, it's not quite so bad. Now, again, maybe it doesn't exactly fit into this neighborhood, but I'm pretty sure with Courtyard Lane, I chose to make a different house for each lot on purpose. I didn't want to take the background into consideration. I didn't want to take what was already there into consideration. I wanted to build my own little world. We're moving up as opposed to Foundry Cove, and these guys are a little bit more well off, so they're going to do a little bit more unique. Now, in the next neighborhood that we're moving up into, it's more established, so I think my builds will reflect that. I hope that makes sense. But I'm not unhappy with what I did. I may have gone overboard on the landscaping, and at this point, it's probably too late, but I should apologize for the janky moves and maneuvers here. It's been a while since I've done this, so I was a little rusty. It's like, how do I move the camera again? Which buttons do I press again? I tried to edit it as best I could, but apologies if it upsets anyone. I'm not unhappy with what I did. I just know that it isn't what I had intended to build from the start. That's all. But I don't think it's too bad. I think what I'm getting at is you keep trying to make affordable housing and use the least amount of game packs as possible, and it never works out. I start out with try to use a lot of base game, and then I start moving on, and I'm like, well, I'll bet you everybody has animals, right? Everybody likes animals. They'll have that pack. And I end up using what I like as opposed to what I should be using. But there again, should I even be letting that hinder my movements? I don't know. It's not like 80 million people are going to be downloading these houses from the gallery, but I am uploading them there. So maybe I should take that into consideration. I don't know. But it is a hindrance. And it's the hindrances that are preventing me from really just letting go and building exactly what I want to build. And that, I think, is the core of my issue with continuing these videos. I want to make videos for YouTube. I want to do the games I enjoy doing, but I just don't know how to move forward with my own way of thinking as opposed to what I think viewers are thinking. I'm at odds. And the fact that I have no viewers is probably a dumb reason to cling to something like that, but that's me. That's what I do. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad I enjoyed it. I was so afraid I was going to go back in and say, you know what, I just can't do this anymore, because I took so much time off. But as I mentioned, there was a personal reason as well. I don't want to go into it, but there was a lot on my plate for quite a while, and I just needed to sit back and soak up a ton of black and white movies, books, and I'm currently hooked on the Timeline series. I'm sure most of you are seeing it on the right side of your YouTube. It's history where archaeologists go back in England and they dig up relics from the past. Very fascinating stuff. The format is a little annoying, and in some of the videos the music overpowers the voiceover, so that's annoying. But the history itself, I've always been a fan of that. Now this here is what I was mentioning, and it's probably overkill, but it was the first time back for a while, and I really wanted to make landscaping. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I do hope you liked the video. I also hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.